What's good, y'all? Let's talk about it. NFL, week 1. We about to get straight to it. Now, I know there's one more game tomorrow, but I'm going to talk about the majority of the games right now so I could just give my random thoughts. Kudos to the Lions for beating the Chiefs. I'm not really impressed with the win. I'm going to be very honest with you. A win is a win in the NFL, but I'm not really impressed with the win simply because the Chiefs lost that game more than the Lions won that game. If Kadarius Toney had caught like 5 balls, they would have won that game. If the Chiefs also had utilized Justin Ross throughout the whole entire game, put him on the outside and let him do his thing, they would have won the game. So the Chiefs lost that game more than the Lions won. But shout out to the Lions for not screwing themselves completely over. I did think that they played to lose throughout majority of the game because they weren't really scoring after that first touchdown. But once that pick 6 happened, they scored another touchdown later on. But like I said, they did what they need to do. I think the Chiefs will be fine overall, but they still got some things they need to work on during the course of the upcoming weeks. I think they're in trouble against the Jaguars in week 2, so I'll get to that another time. Shout out to the Ravens. They beat the Texans as they should. It was kind of a sloppy game offensively, passing wise, but the running game did its thing. Justice Hill. I want to put out prayers to J.K. Dobbins. I want to put out prayers to him because he's tore his Achilles, so he's out once again for the whole entire season. So it seems like that's going to be the end for him with the Ravens. He's a pretty good running back, and from Ohio State, and I wish that he didn't have to deal with this outcome, but nevertheless, I hope that he has a safe and speedy recovery. I think the Ravens passing game will continue to get better. I have Lamar Jackson as my MVP. So, yeah, they're going to have to get better for that prediction to land right. I was shocked with the Buccaneers being the Vikings. I forgot to show my prediction list. I really need to show my prediction list. I've been lazy on that, so I apologize in advance. But I got the Vikings win the NFC North. So them losing like this is already a telling sign. And they're about to go to the Eagles on Thursday night. They're going to lose that game, so they're going to start 0-2. All they can do is pass. They got no running game. Shout out to Jordan Addison, for getting that touchdown. But yeah, man, they got some trouble. I think the defense will be better than last year, obviously, but that's all I can really say about that. Buccaneers, I still think they'll be in the running to draft Caleb Williams, but they're going to fight. They're not going to lay down. They're going to fight, especially with Baker Mayfield being a fiery person. They're going to fight. So kudos to them for the first win. We'll see how that translates. I expected the Falcons to beat the Panthers. Panthers, they're going to go through a long process. That offensive line is very questionable. It concerned me very much throughout the preseason. So if Bryce Young can survive that, then he'll be fine in the upcoming years overall. I don't know when they're going to win the game. I'm going to be honest with you. I have them ranked 3rd in the division, right under the Falcons. Falcons, they got that running game. And Ritter, he seems to be good at managing the game thus far. So we'll see how that turns out. It's only week 1, but shout out to the Falcons. I'm going to be honest with y'all. They might be able to win this division given how bad the Saints played. I thought the Saints were going to be much better than this. Given that Ryan Tannehill played like dog crap. He threw 3 picks, and the Saints barely won by a point, and it was a low-scoring game. That's unacceptable. So I'm not too high on them as I was before. I think they'll win the division, but the Falcons might take over that division. I'm going to really keep it real with y'all. Shame on the Broncos. Y'all, too, lost by a point, barely scored against the Raiders. Russell Wilson actually did his thing. I know people want to blame him, but at the end of the day, he did his thing. He didn't throw no picks. So a lack of a running game, and Sean Payton, you got some work to do, buddy. Besides Russell Wilson, you got some work to do. This is unacceptable. You lost your first game at home, barely scored any points. No, we not doing that. Chargers, Brandon Staley, you on the hot seat, dog. It's not the look. Y'all lost to a very good Dolphins team. Tua played out of his mind. Tyreek Hill played out of his mind. Great on offense. The issue here is that you were putrid defensively. Putrid. Unacceptable. You have a defensive background as a head coach. I'm referring to Coach Staley. So you're in big trouble already as it is. You should have won this game, especially with the Chiefs going down. You should have won this game at home like y'all did last year. Unacceptable. But shout out to the Dolphins. Very explosive. They're going to continue to be explosive for the rest of the year. May Tua stay healthy for the entire year so we can see the Dolphins truly blossom, at least offensively. Rams, I'm so surprised. I did pick the Seahawks to try to be objective here. I didn't want to be biased. I wanted to be objective. I am thoroughly surprised. The best thing that might have happened to the Rams, I'm going to be honest, is the fact that Cooper Kupp is on IR for the first 4 games. I want him to, eventually get on the field, but be healthy with the hamstring. But that might be the best thing that happened to the Rams because Matthew Stafford has no choice but to throw the ball to other receivers. So he found Puka, the homie, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name right now. Not Justin Jefferson. Damn, he's number 5 too. He's short. Puka balled out and number 5 balled out. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out right now. But dude finally balled out. They drafted him out all these years and he wasn't playing well. He wasn't doing nothing. They finally figured out how to utilize him, and he gets over 100 yards. Go figure. Shout out to Kyren Williams. I didn't know that he has a nose for the end zone, but they need to continue to utilize him and keep using Cam Akers. I was thoroughly impressed at how physical the Rams were today against the Seahawks. I know they've owned the Seahawks when healthy, but they were very physical at the line of scrimmage. So once again, shout out to the Rams. Shout out to Matthew Stafford. He played very, very well against Seattle at Seattle. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Rams, man. Oh, I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say it. But I did pick the Browns. That was my best pick this week. I picked the Browns to beat the Bengals. The Bengals going to be fine. As long as Burrow is not really injured, they're going to be fine. But I think the Browns are better than people are expecting. I actually think the Browns are going to be a playoff team. So we'll see how that progresses, how they get through the rest of the season. But yeah, that defense was excellent. That defense, they harassed Burrow the whole entire game. He couldn't do nothing. Jamar Chase couldn't do much. They couldn't do nothing. Now, Deshaun Watson, I need you to get more accurate, dog. You were not accurate today. I get it's the first game, but you were not accurate. Nick Chubb, with the exception of that fumble, he did his thing. I got hair in my damn eye. I can't believe that. But yeah, he did his damn thing. But Deshaun Watson, I need you to get more accurate, dog. I need you to become the Deshaun Watson that we all, watch before you sat out for a year and some change, or a couple of years, like basically 2 years. So, yeah, I need you to get back to that, dog. Real talk. Which leads to the other team in the AFC South. No, sorry. The North. Steelers, this is why I had y'all ranked last. I was stupid enough. This is my worst pick. I picked them to beat the upset the 49ers because I fell for the Colin Cowherd, Jason McIntyre rhetoric when they was talking about, they're going to upset the 49ers. And I started thinking about last year how the 49ers lost the first game against the Bears and they were away. So I'm like, it's probably going to happen again. No, absolutely not. The Steelers going to be last in that division. Pickett is not better than any of those quarterbacks in his own division in the AFC North. So you can scrap that. That was the worst pick I made of the week. I won't do that again. Yeah, the 49ers are going to continue to be lethal, but I do not think they will win the Super Bowl or make it to the Super Bowl. But I may do a separate video just to jinx them. So stay tuned for that. Oh, man. And then the Dallas Cowboys, they blanked the Giants. The Giants are putrid. You are Pastor Solamente. You lost 40-0 at home. You couldn't even score a point. And you idiots, the Giants organization paid $40 million to Daniel Jones for one good season because of Brian Daboll. Coach Daboll. You paid $40 million for that. So y'all now screwed. This is not Coach's Daboll's fault. This is the organization at front office for paying all that money to Daniel Jones. Look, the Cowboys this is the best defense that the Cowboys will have in the Dak Prescott era. He didn't even have to do much. They ran the ball, scored a couple of touchdowns. They scored a touchdown, I think it was a pick six. Yeah, it was a pick six, and they scored another touchdown blocking the kick. So they were great in all phases. I think the 49ers have the best defense in the NFL, and the Cowboys are second, but it could switch. Eagles barely beat the Patriots. We'll see how that continues. Just remember this. Even though I have the Eagles winning their division, Dak has owned that division, and he's owned the Eagles when healthy. So we'll see how it turns out. I think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback to him, but certain quarterbacks, they just own teams, and Dak has owned a lot of the other teams in that division. Speaking about that division, the NFC East, Commanders won, but I'm not high on them, especially how they played against the Cardinals are trying to tank, and y'all barely beat them. Get out of here with that garbage. I'm trying to think who else. There's probably some other team, but I pretty much got through the teams I need to talk about, so I'll talk about the Bills and the Jets another day. These are my thoughts for week one. Let me know your biggest take on week one thus far. And yeah, man, that's pretty much my thoughts about that. I'm going to try to be consistent and do weekly thoughts on the NFL games. And I'm going to try to get to college football, which already has started as well. So, yeah, I'm going to just leave it as that. Salute.